I'm Steve Guggenheim, and this is Travel with Googs. Like many others, I've had to cancel a number of trips. I should be in Japan right now instead of writing this in my home office. And that would have been after coming home from Costa Rica. And I'd much prefer to be writing about those trips instead of dreaming about them. The company I booked Japan with canceled, so I got all of my money back. But because a different company did not cancel, I lost insurance money when I decided it was not prudent to travel to Costa Rica. But I'm lucky. A lot of other people have fared worse due to the imposed restrictions caused by the disease. To be clear, I'm talking about travel losses, not those who have suffered from the virus, and by no means am I trying to equate the two. Travel problems are not even a drop in the bucket when compared with the pandemic. The travel questions many of us face now is what we do for the future. Just on my short horizon going to the end of the year, I have trips planned to West Virginia, Hilton Head in South Carolina, Hawaii, and the aforementioned Costa Rica. And I'm far from alone. Many others have similar problems. We have a trip to Morocco planned for February, and the company, Overseas Adventure Travel, just sent me a note reducing the cost by $1,000. Their way of thanking me for not already canceling. And I can switch to a different location and still get that bonus. Another thought about overseas travel. What if we're in Morocco and get sick? I would rather be in a U.S. hospital than one in North Africa. What if flights to the U.S. are canceled? How would we get home? How expensive could that be? And keep in mind, it's easier to get home from West Virginia or Hilton Head than it is from some of the other places we plan on going to, even from Europe. I have not made air reservations for any of the trips, and will only do so if we decide to go, even if we have to pay a premium. The decision will come at the latest possible moment. My suggestion, do the same no matter what discounts are being offered. Hold off as long as you can before deciding whether or not to go. And make sure to take trip cancellation insurance. I normally skip this on relatively short trips, but now it's worth the money. Better to lose hundreds of dollars than thousands. Make sure you know what the insurance covers. How long before a trip can you cancel? What reason do you need to give them? Are you covered if you need to cut the trip short? Is hospitalization covered? What about emergency transportation? The policies vary, so make sure to read the fine print. Instead of traveling overseas, I may spend my vacations right here in the U.S. I have visited 39 states, and in some of those I've only seen small sections. And keep in mind, it's much easier to get home while in the U.S. than from anywhere else. If you want to avoid air travel, go by car. There may be places you've always wanted to go to, but never got there, so this may be your chance. Or maybe you forgot about a place you had been to a long time ago. Many of us live near national parks or places with campgrounds. Getting a tent is a way to stay away from a hotel and enjoying nature at its finest. We've spent a week camping at Acadia in Maine, which has to be one of the best vacations we ever took. The ranger talks are phenomenal, and there are great hiking and bike trails. Camping on the beach on Ocracoke Island off the North Carolina coast is beautiful. There are plenty of other parks, but of course all of that depends on the opening of the country, or at least sections of it. If you do think about going to a national park, get your reservation in as soon as possible, because those places quickly fill up. The problem is no one knows what will happen with COVID-19. Officials say to be careful in making any plans just because there's a lull, because the virus could come back with a vengeance. In the meantime, let your mind wander about where in the world you want to visit. It can help you stop thinking about the pandemic. People keep saying I'll run out of places to visit. That will never happen, as I keep coming up with new spots to go to. For example, I never thought about Lisbon, but after seeing a travel show, it looks really interesting. The UN recognizes 195 countries in the world. Not only that, but there are many places to visit in those countries. For example, I've been to Italy 4 times and still haven't seen all the country has to offer. So there will always be places to see. And you may want to go back and revisit some of the locations you've already seen. In the meantime, we're taking short day trips where we don't have to get out of the car. We'll get through this crisis. It may take a while, but we'll get through it. So don't let your travel dreams die. I'm Steve Guggenheim, and this is Travel with Googs.